to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends Retro Cyborg Spider-Man, and we're going to go ahead and jump right into this, starting off with this beautiful looking packaging. I absolutely love the packaging that they've been using for the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Retro stuff. Obviously, it is inspired by the packaging from the 5-inch Spider-Man line back in the day, the line that used to accompany the animated series, and a lot of the figures in that line were actually based on the designs from the animated series. That's not the case with the Marvel Legends stuff, just the packaging is inspired by the animated series and that old toy line, but the figures themselves come from the comic book looks. Sometimes it's close enough to fudge it, you know, like it kind of could work for both, but in most cases they're basically just comic book versions of the characters. But let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging here. First off, you are able to see the figure, you can see the accessories that he comes with, and then we have some awesome looking Cyborg Spider-Man artwork right there. And then up on the top we get a look at Spider-Man hanging out on the Spider-Man logo, and this is obviously based on the designs from the animated show. And then up here we get the old school Marvel Comics logo, and that is really nice. On the back, I really like this. I like this artwork right here because they would use artwork like this to show off any type of action feature that the figure would have. And then right here we have a small little biography, and then we have some more artwork, some more Spider-Man stuff, some more Cyborg Spidey, all kinds of good stuff. The only thing I don't like about the packaging is the fact that it's not collector friendly. But then if it was collector friendly, everybody wouldn't go out and buy two of each one of these figures. The Spider-Man stuff is basically the only ones I feel like I have to get two of each one because I just love the packaging so much. I like the packaging for the X-Men stuff and the other miscellaneous Marvel things, but the Spider-Man stuff, it just gets me, and I have to get two of all of them. So far that's been the case. But yeah, I just love the way this packaging looks. But enough about this pretty box. Let's go ahead and take this figure out and take a look. And so here we have Cyborg Spidey right out of the box, and I think this is a really good looking figure. As you can see, they did use the Sunfire buck this time around, and I'm okay with that because I've always been a big fan of that body mold, and I feel like it's one of the best bucks that Hasbro has at their disposal. I'm a little surprised that they never used it on a classic Spider-Man before. I think this is going to be as close as we'll ever get because now they have the retro body, and I mean, they backtrack with this figure, so, you know, who knows what they'll do, but I'd imagine that we probably won't ever see a classic Spider-Man on this body. But I like this body mold a lot. It has really good articulation. It looks good. And when I originally saw the leaked images of the Cyborg Spider-Man, I thought that they used the Pizza Spider-Man body. And I was like, massively disappointed because I've always wanted this version of Spider-Man. This is something that definitely speaks to my childhood. I had the 5-inch toy back in the day, so you know, I was looking forward to getting this version of Spider-Man eventually. And when I thought it was on the Pizza Spider-Man body, it was like, man, come on, you know, like I'm so over the Pizza Spider-Man body at this point. Even though it was good for its time and there's been a bunch of good uses out there, I just don't want to see it on Spider-Man figures going forward, you know. But once I realized it was the Sunfire body, I was like, oh, okay, you know, it's not the retro body, but I'll take the Sunfire body for sure. So I'm happy with the way this figure came out. I think it looks really good. It does have a new head sculpt that has the, you know, the, I guess you could call it like an electronic eye patch. It has like the headband. It's all stitched up. It does look good. And then we have the newly sculpted cybernetic arm, which looks exactly like it did in the comics. So that looks good. And before anyone corrects me, I know that it's not a full-on cyborg arm. I know it's something that's over Pete's arm here to protect him and help it heal and all that good stuff, you know. I don't want like a bunch of comments going, it's not cybernetic, you know, he still has his arm, he's not a true cyborg. But yeah, it's a good looking figure. I think they did a good job with it. Good body choice. And overall, I like the way it looks and I'm happy with it. But let's go ahead and get in close and take a look at some of the sculpted details because we do have some new stuff going on here. And obviously the head is a new sculpt. It does look really good. I like the cybernetic eye patch that we have going on. We've got the white bandana. And as you can see, he does have some stitches going along his face, but they're kind of hard to make out because they're just red. I do wish that those were either white or silver. But it is cool that they were included. But yeah, they're really hard to see. But everything else about the head looks really good. I like that the eyes aren't just painted on. They're actually sculpted, so that's cool. And then I really like the pirate, the cybernetic robot pirate eye. That looks good. And then the arm looks really nice too. I'm never a big fan of the color that Hasbro uses when they do like cybernetic robotic arms. It does look a little funny, so I mean this would benefit from a bit of a wash or something, but I think the sculpting work is there. It's very accurate to the comic, so that's definitely nice. And there is some good sculpting work on here. I like the way the fist looks, but I might repaint this. We'll see. I don't know. I do have a couple of paint chips right in here. As you can see, it's a little tight, so like when I'm moving this, I did chip the paint a little bit, and then I do have a small paint imperfection right here. So nothing major. I think for the most part the paint is clean. All the lines look pretty nice. The spider logo looks good, and then we do have his belt here. Again, his belt would have benefited from a bit of a wash, but it looks good. Yeah, I might hit that with the wash. We'll see. And then right here we do have this bandage wrapped around his leg, and this is a loose piece, so it does move around. Not a whole lot to it, but it does look good. Then moving down here, the lines on the feet look nice. And let's see, anything else going on? Oh, this kind of drives me crazy, even though it's in the back, that the legs don't connect when you move the arms. But, you know, stupid little gripe. But, yeah. I think for the most part, the figure looks good, and I'm happy to see that there's not a whole lot of QC issues with him, you know? And one more thing I kind of want to point out about this Spider-Man is that under the shoulder, he doesn't have a bunch of paint rub, which, you know, is very nice to see, because on a lot of Spider-Man figures, I get paint rub in the shoulders and it kind of ruins the experience for me, but that's not the case here. But he does have the red little peg piece in there, which kind of sucks. It would have been nice if they made that blue, you know. And then we have the red pegs, which again, it's kind of like, come on, little dumb stuff that I feel like they could have done a little bit better. Because like the rest of the figure doesn't have that problem, because this arm is all, you know, like silver, and then the legs are blue with the pegs. It would have been nice to have been, you know, if it was the pinless technology going on, but, you know, they're using old parts. But it would have been nice if they would have at least given us, you know, blue pegs. I don't want to cry too much about it. I know that's like a common complaint with Hasbro stuff, especially because they've come so far, you know, like they're doing some incredible things now. So when they do stuff like this, it's just kind of like, come on guys, what are you doing? But you know, it doesn't bother me too much, but it's just something I wanted to point out. And for accessories, Spider-Man really doesn't come with that much at all. He basically just has one extra hand and a web effect. So what we have here is a pair of fists, and then he does have a thwip hand for his right hand. So I do wish that they would have thrown in some more accessories in here. More hands, an extra beat up Peter Parker head, or another battle damaged Spider-Man head, something. They could have thrown more things in here, but all we got was one extra hand and this web effect that I'm not a big fan of. And now for some size comparisons. Here we have Cyborg Spider-Man alongside the Marvel Legends Deathlock, and I know a lot of people are going to be taking shots at them too, maybe trying to recreate that old comic book cover, and I'm happy to see that I think they look pretty good together. On the opposite side of that, we have the embodiment of extreme 90s Marvel characters with pouches and robot arms, Marvel Legends Cable. So, you know, even though a lot of people make fun of the whole 90s era of comics, there's a lot of fun designs, and I'm happy that Hasbro keeps going back to that era and giving us characters, you know, from that time, regardless of how insane they are, you know, like, there's no reason for Spider-Man to be all, you know, I know they made they made a reason for him to be like this in the story and all that good stuff, but at the end of the day, I think it was just a product of its time, and it's fun that Hasbro keeps going back to that era and giving us cool characters like this. So this makes me very happy. But let's go ahead and check out some other size comparisons. So next up we have Cyborg Spidey alongside the Marvel Legends Ultimate Spider-Man, the Ultimate Miles Morales from, what wave was that? That was a long time ago. Oh, the Space Venom wave. Yeah. Space Venom wave Miles Morales. And on the opposite side of that, we have the Marvel Legends Scarlet Spider. And I've always really loved this figure, and they both share the same body. So, you know, like I said, I've always thought this body works really good for Spider-Man type of characters. And Kane has always been proof of that. Next up, we have Cyborg Spidey alongside Gwen Stacy. If she'll stand, there we go. Good job. And the Marvel Legends Peter Parker Spider-Man. Both of those are from the retro wave that came out earlier this year. And then next up, we have Cyborg Spidey alongside the retro Spider-Man with the Spider Sense effect from Toyin' Around. And on the opposite side here, we have the Mafex classic Spider-Man. And then for the final size comparison, we have Cyborg Spidey alongside Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. And for the articulation, I know that most people are pretty aware of what's going on with this body, but let's go ahead and run through it anyways. First off, the head is on a little ball joint, so it does move side to side. It's got a little bit of tilt to it. And you can look up to about right there. You can look down to right there. And then for the torso, we do have an ab crunch, so it clicks forward to right there. I do wish that it bent forward just a little bit more so we could get him into some better crouching poses, but this will work. So it goes forward to right there, goes back to right there, and then he does have a waist swivel. And then for the arms, he does have butterfly jointed shoulders, which is a big reason why I love this buck so much. So the butterfly jointed shoulders are awesome, as you can see. You get his arms back to do all kinds of good stuff. And then you could even bring him forward a really good amount. You could have his arms in front of him so when you're doing like punching poses or whatever. So yeah, I've always really liked the shoulders on this body. And even the cybernetic arm could get in front of him a pretty good amount. So good stuff there. And then he does have ball joints at the shoulders, so they do go all the way around. It is a little tight on this side, but it does go all the way around. And then you could bring his arm out to the side to right there. Obviously the arm without the plate is going to be able to go a little bit higher, but his robot arm could only go up to right there, and then the plate kind of stops it. But you know, not a big deal at all. And then he does have upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. This one bends to about right there. And this one gets your standard double jointed bend there. Bam, there we go. And then we do have a swivel at the wrist, and then a hinge at the hand. For the legs, oh dang, I don't remember this body being able to do the split so good, but yeah, there you go. Nice. Then he could kick forward to right there. Can't really go back too much. And then we have upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee. Ooh, his little strap is falling down. There we go. We have a lower leg swivel. And then at the foot, you could bring it forward to right there. Bring it up to right there. And then he does have some rocking action at the ankles. So yeah, like I said, no surprises because, you know, I'm well aware of this body. I'm sure that you are too. But yeah, I like the articulation on this. I think it works good for Spidey. I do wish that the ab crunch went forward just a little bit more so we could get him into those awesome looking crouch poses. But he could still hit pretty good ones. And yeah, this body's just a lot of fun to mess with. I've enjoyed every figure that they put on this body, or every one that I could think of. And there's a lot of times where they use like the Bucky Cap body or the Pizza Spider-Man body where I felt that they should have used this body instead. So, like I said, I'm a big fan of it. And I think it works good for this Cyborg Spider-Man. Alright, so at the end of the day, I like this figure a lot. And I know that not everybody's going to be into this version of Spider-Man because people like to shit all over the 90s. But there was a lot of fun stuff going on at that time. And this version of Spider-Man reminds me of that era. So I'm really happy that Hasbro finally gave us this. Because I was a huge fan of the 5-inch toy when I was a kid. I had that figure and I loved it. You know, like I didn't really know why he was a cyborg or whatever, why he had these new parts. I just thought it was cool, you know. And there was a lot of stuff like that was going on at the time. You know, there was like not a logical reason behind what was going on. It was just cool and kids liked it. I was one of those kids. So this figure really speaks to me and I like it. I like it a lot. I'm happy with the body choice. I do wish that he came with some more accessories. You know, maybe like a beat up Peter Parker head or maybe some more hands or whatever. I am glad that he came with 2 fists and at least 1 whip hand, but I feel like they could have put a little bit more in there. I'm not a big fan of the spider web accessory he came with, so I felt like that was kind of weak. In my opinion, they should have given him either some new spider web effects like that we saw with some of the Game Reverse figures, or just left out the spider web effect and just put in more hands or an extra head or something. So yeah, accessories are a little lacking, but aside from that, I think this is a great figure. Yeah, overall, I'm very happy with this, and hopefully they keep giving us crazy 90s characters and crazy 90s versions of characters, you know. Like I would love to get a figure. I forget what like comic run it was, but it was where Thor where he had like this crazy black suit and I don't know. It was super 90s. I'd be down for something like that too. I just like the over the top ridiculousness of it all. So yeah, this Spider-Man definitely represents that and it makes me want a solo figure. That would be a character that might be easy just to make a custom of real quick, but I think that it would be cool if Hasbro gave us a solo figure with a bunch of guns and just all kinds of cool stuff. Who knows if they'll ever do that. Seems like nothing is off limits, so maybe. And so I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And if you want to support the channel, there's a couple different ways you could do so in the description below. You could buy an Odious head, you could buy a hat, or you could buy a t-shirt. And, you know, if you don't want to do any of those things, that's all good. I really do appreciate that you guys check out the videos. I hope everyone out there has a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Peace.